I'm Matt Bishar with Nareit, here in Hollywood, Florida for Nareit's REALtwise, the 2018 Law, Accounting, and Finance Conference. Joining me today is Nancy Anderson, Chief Financial Officer and Vice President of Financial Reporting with REALpac. Nancy, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Matt.
Now, I understand that you've been appointed to the Accounting Standards Board of Canada, which is the equivalent to the United States' Financial Accounting Standards Board. How do you think your role will benefit the global REIT industry as it provides input on accounting proposals?
I think that it's helpful for me to be involved in the process of standard setting. It helps at times, I think, to allow me to hear discussions of what other stakeholders think about standards that are being developed and implemented, so I can get other viewpoints. As well, when topics come up that impact our industry, I find that I might have the opportunity to provide additional comments and thoughts on what our viewpoint is, and actually even hear back where those others disagree and why. So I think that hopefully that'll be helpful.
Okay. Now, the International Accounting Standards Board has 2 research projects on its agenda that could impact real estate companies internationally. Could you give us an update on where the primary financial statements and the principles of disclosures projects stand, and how has the Real Estate Equity Securitization Alliance, which REALpac and Nareit are members of, been engaged in these projects?
One of the initiatives of the ISB recently, I think, was to provide better communication. And as part of that, they developed this Principles of Disclosure project. Now, they've issued a document, the research group has commented on it, and it focuses generally around is there too much irrelevant disclosure in financial statements? Is there not enough relevant disclosure in financial statements? And the research group commented on that and provided our thoughts. An extension almost of that program is the research project on primary financial statements. And it's kind of been around for a long time. Where they are with that is they've been really busy in the past couple months, and they've started to make some potential decisions that they will put out in either a discussion paper or an exposure draft for us to comment, for everyone to comment on, including us. And it'll include ideas like putting earnings before interest and taxes, EBIT, on the financial statements, deciding where income from joint ventures and associates go, whether they go above or below, and very interestingly, whether or not management performance metrics should be, that are in your MD&A type of documents, other places in your annual report, whether those should be brought into the financial statements. Can they be brought into the financial statements, and how would that look, and where would they go, and how would that work? So we're monitoring it and staying really involved in the dialogue of how that's going, and we'll see where it goes.
And as part of these projects, the IASB is considering the inclusion of non-GAAP metrics in the financial statements. Could this mean that metrics like funds from operations or NOI could be presented in the audited financial statements?
Actually, there are REITs that report under IFRS now that do have NOI, net operating income, in their financial statements. They might not exactly call it that, but it's clearly that, and you can map it back to their other documents to see that it's NOI. So I think as long as there isn't anything that happens in the project that prohibits that from happening, I think that can continue to happen. So hopefully that stays okay with that. When it comes to FFO, it really matters how the ISB intends to define a management performance measure or a non-GAAP measure. What I mean by that is they're looking at, should we really narrow it to just an income measure, or should we keep it as an earnings measure? So FFO, it might be more challenging to get FFO in the financial statements because it might not fit in where they want it, or what kind of metric they want. And also, I know for in Canada, under REALpac's definition of FFO, we kind of ungap some things, so that probably won't be allowed in the financial statements. So FFO, I think we still have to wait and see what happens with that.
Great. Nancy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
For more from REALtwise, be sure to visit Nareit's website, REIT.com.